All right, so let's go through what we talked about this morning in first hour. Let's see if I can get back to where I was supposed to be. All right, so we talked about the mole today. We are starting to learn about the mole and what it's used for in science and in chemistry. The mole is just a unit of measurement, okay? Um, this morning, we wrote down in our science notebooks, and you could take notes on this in a notebook if you have it. A mole is just a unit of measurement used in chemistry to describe a number of particles. Just like we would say if you have a dozen of something, you know that you have 12. Well, in science, if you say you have a mole of something, you know you have exactly 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd, this is known as Avogadro's constant. It was named for a famous scientist named Amadeo Avogadro. This number is large. It's extremely large. Let's see. 1 mole is equivalent to 6.022 and then like 20 more digits after it. It's a 6 with 20 digits after it. And why? Why in the world do you need a number that large? Um, well, it's because atoms are so small. You've got to have a number that large because you've got to be able to have enough atoms that you can work with. In science, because of the fact that atoms and molecules and particles are so small, you have to have a lot of them in order to be able to do any kind of work with it, in order to be able to weigh them on a scale. Or to mix them together. Okay, you've got to know exactly how many particles that you got. That way, you know when you do a chemical reaction, if you put this particle with this particle, you should create this many of this new thing. Okay, so you've got to be able to know how many are there. Okay, so how do all these things relate? Well, if you have a mole of silver, for example, it weighs about 107.9 grams. Well, if you have 107.9 grams of silver, then you know you have approximately 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms of silver. Okay? Just like if you had a dozen eggs, that dozen eggs might weigh 450 grams. That would be 12 eggs. Because you have a dozen, you have 12 eggs, but it has a certain weight. If you have a dozen monster trucks, you still have 12 monster trucks, right? But they're not going to weigh the same as the eggs. If they did, that would be weird. But, anyways, they're going to have different amounts, different masses, okay? Just like atoms have different masses. So, what do we call that? It's called a molar mass. The mass of 1 mole of any substance is known as its molar mass. You can find these numbers on the periodic table. It's the same number that we use for average atomic mass. That's called its molar mass. So the molar mass of silver is 107.9 grams. In order to convert into moles, you're going to have conversion factors. Okay, so let's take a look at these real quick. You've got 3 main conversion factors. All of these are equivalent values to a mole. You got 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. 1 mole is equivalent to molar mass, and 1 mole of any gas at standard temperature and pressure will take up 22.4 liters of space. These are conversion factors that the kids wrote down today. These are the conversion factors that you're going to need this week. We will start to work on homework problems probably tomorrow because we just ran out of time today. But these are the notes if you want to go ahead and write them down from today, and then we'll start to work on those problems tomorrow. If you want to go ahead and get that sheet printed out, it's already uploaded, but you're going to need that. That's going to be your assignment for tomorrow. Okay? Good luck.